The YOGTZE case is one of the most perplexing unsolved mysteries in modern German crime history. It revolves around the bizarre and tragic death of Günther Stoll, a 34-year-old food engineer from Unsolvable, West Germany, in October 1984. Over the decades, this case has fascinated true crime enthusiasts and puzzled investigators due to the strange sequence of events leading to Stoll's death, the cryptic YOGTZE message, and the theories that attempt to explain this mind-boggling case. Despite numerous investigations, the case remains unsolved to this day. Günther Stoll, a troubled life before the tragedy. Günther Stoll was an unemployed food engineer who had been struggling with mental health issues prior to his death. Described by friends and family as a man experiencing bouts of paranoia, Stoll had repeatedly expressed a belief that they were after him. However, he never clarified who they were or what they wanted. His wife and others around him often dismissed these fears as delusional, attributing his behavior to anxiety or possible psychosis. Over time, Stoll's mental state seemed to deteriorate, but no one could predict the eerie and fatal turn his life would take in late October 1984. In the weeks leading up to his death, Stoll exhibited erratic behavior. He would often appear frightened and agitated, claiming that he was being followed. His paranoia reached a peak on the night of October 25, 1984, when he suddenly leapt up from his chair at home and exclaimed, "Jetzt geht mir ein Licht auf." Now I see the light, or now I've got it. This statement was accompanied by his rapid scribbling of the word YOGTZE on a piece of paper. He quickly crossed the word out, and then abruptly left his home, setting into motion a chain of mysterious and ultimately tragic events. The final night, a series of bizarre events. After leaving his home, Stoll got into his Volkswagen Golf and drove to a local pub in Wilnsdorf, where he was a known regular. He arrived shortly after 11 p.m. Witnesses at the pub reported that Stoll ordered a beer but did not drink it. Instead, he collapsed suddenly, hitting his face on the floor and injuring himself. Witnesses recounted that Stoll muttered something about an accident before quickly leaving the establishment. His behavior was erratic, but patrons assumed he was either having a breakdown or was under the influence of some substance. His strange collapse, coupled with the comment about an accident, hinted at a deeper mental disturbance. The Haigerseelbach Visit. The next part of Stoll's night is shrouded in uncertainty. Around 1 a.m., Stoll arrived in Haigerseelbach, a town where he had grown up, and knocked on the door of an elderly woman he had known in his youth. She opened the door and was surprised to see him, given the late hour. Stoll, by this time, appeared highly agitated and confused, speaking in a cryptic manner. He warned the woman that something terrible was going to happen that night. Though the elderly woman urged him to go home or contact his parents, Stoll declined, saying that they wouldn't understand what he was experiencing. He left her house and vanished once again into the night. The crash on the A45 Highway. At approximately 3 a.m., two truck drivers traveling along the A45 Highway near Hagen-Süd discovered Stoll's wrecked Volkswagen Golf in a ditch. The location of the accident was about 100 kilometers away from Haigerseelbach, raising questions about where Stoll had been during the missing hours. Upon approaching the vehicle, the truckers noticed that Stoll was not in the driver's seat, but rather seated naked in the passenger seat, critically injured but still conscious. He claimed that there had been 4 men with him in the car who had just taken off. When asked if these men were his friends, Stoll firmly denied any such relationship. The truck drivers immediately called for help, but by the time medical assistance arrived, Stoll had lost consciousness. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, where he died from his injuries before any further information could be obtained from him. The subsequent autopsy revealed a disturbing detail. Stoll's injuries were inconsistent with those sustained in a simple car crash. Instead, it appeared that he had been run over by a vehicle at another location before being placed back into his car, which was then staged to make it appear as though he had crashed off the road. The investigation, baffling clues and theories. The police investigation into Günther Stoll's death uncovered several baffling elements. The injuries sustained by Stoll strongly indicated that he had been run over by another vehicle, and the autopsy confirmed that he had been naked at the time of the accident. This suggested that whatever had occurred had transpired before he was placed back in his car. The lack of blood on the scene also implied that the impact had not occurred where his vehicle was found, leading investigators to suspect that someone had intentionally moved his body and car after the incident. The YOGTZE message. One of the most perplexing aspects of the case was the cryptic message, YOGTZE, which Stoll had scribbled before leaving his house. What did it mean? Numerous theories have emerged over the years attempting to decode the message. Some believe it was an abbreviation or code related to his professional background in food engineering, though no clear connection has been established. Others have speculated that it might have been a license plate number Stoll had seen earlier, or even a sign of a mental breakdown, where he attempted to make sense of fragmented thoughts. One particularly interesting theory posits that YOGTZE could be a radio call sign. In fact, there is a Romanian amateur radio station with the call sign YOGTZE. However, this theory has not been substantiated and there is no evidence linking Stoll to any kind of radio hobby or expertise. The four mysterious men. Stoll's final words to the truck drivers, that there had been 4 men with him, remain one of the biggest mysteries in the case. Who were these men, and what role did they play in his death? If these men were indeed with Stoll, why did they leave him naked and critically injured? Despite extensive efforts, the identities of these individuals have never been determined. Some investigators have considered the possibility that Stoll was involved in criminal activities, such as drug trafficking, and that the 4 men were his accomplices or adversaries. This theory is supported by the fact that Stoll frequently traveled to the Netherlands, a known hotspot for illicit trade at the time. However, there is no direct evidence to link him to any illegal activities. Moreover, the police found no substantial financial motive or criminal background in Stoll's life that could explain such involvement. The hitchhiker. Another strange clue surfaced when witnesses reported seeing a hitchhiker near the Haigerseelbach exit around the time of the crash. Some believe this hitchhiker could have been connected to the 4 men Stoll mentioned, or might have been someone who witnessed what truly happened. Despite these reports, the hitchhiker was never identified, and no further information regarding this person's role in the case was uncovered. Theories surrounding the YOGTZE case. Over the years, various theories have been proposed to explain the YOGTZE case, ranging from the plausible to the far-fetched. Despite the official investigation and numerous attempts by amateur sleuths, no definitive answer has emerged. Mental breakdown or psychotic episode. The most straightforward theory is that Stoll suffered from a severe mental breakdown or psychotic episode on the night of his death. His paranoia in the months leading up to the event and his belief that they were after him suggest that he may have been suffering from delusions. The scribbling of YOGTZE, his strange collapse in the pub, and his confused behavior in Haigerseelbach all point to a deteriorating mental state. This theory holds that Stoll's mind was unraveling, and the tragic events of that night could have been the culmination of a long-standing psychological issue. However, this theory does not explain the physical evidence. How did Stoll end up being run over by another vehicle? Who were the 4 men he mentioned? These questions remain unanswered and cast doubt on the purely psychological explanation for his death. Criminal involvement. Another theory is that Stoll was involved in some form of illicit activity, possibly related to drug trafficking or espionage, and that the 4 men he mentioned were part of a criminal gang. The cryptic YOGTZE message may have been a code related to this underground network. Supporters of this theory point to Stoll's frequent trips to the Netherlands, a hub for illegal trade, as potential evidence that he was mixed up in something dangerous. However, no concrete evidence of criminal involvement was ever found. Stoll's family, friends, and the police never uncovered any financial irregularities or ties to criminal organizations that would support this theory. Additionally, the lack of clear motive or known financial gain raises doubts about the theory's credibility. Furthermore, Stoll's personality, as described by his close associates, did not suggest he was involved in any criminal activity. The YOGTZE message, a case of precognition. One of the more speculative theories is that YOGTZE was a form of precognitive vision or a prophetic warning. Some believe that Stoll may have experienced a moment of clairvoyance or intuition where he foresaw the events that would lead to his death, possibly in a fragmented manner. According to this interpretation, YOGTZE could have represented an important element of his future. Perhaps a scrambled license plate, radio code, or some symbolic representation of the danger he was about to face. Although this theory veers into the paranormal, it resonates with those fascinated by the idea of precognition. The suddenness with which Stoll exclaimed, "Now I've got it," before scribbling down the cryptic message suggests that, in his mind, he had suddenly understood something significant. The idea that he had some form of premonition may offer a reason for his erratic behavior, but of course, this explanation is difficult to prove and remains in the realm of conjecture. Accidental death or foul play. Another widely considered possibility is that Stoll may have become the victim of foul play, possibly orchestrated by individuals with whom he had a disagreement or debt. The strange circumstances of his death, including the presence of the four men, suggest a situation where Stoll might have been targeted. The fact that he was found naked and that his body showed signs of being run over at a separate location lends credence to the idea that his death may have been the result of a violent altercation or abduction gone wrong. However, this theory is not without its issues. No clear motive for such an act has ever been identified. Moreover, the apparent staging of his car to make it look like a simple accident suggests that whoever was involved took great care in covering up the true nature of the event. Yet, this staging was ultimately flawed, as investigators quickly deduced that Stoll had been run over elsewhere. Involvement of an unknown group. The mention of four men and the bizarre conditions in which Stoll was found have also led some to hypothesize the involvement of a secretive group or a cult-like organization. Given that Stoll spoke about them being after him, some have suggested that he was being stalked or harassed by individuals from an obscure or dangerous group, which may have ultimately led to his death. This theory touches on Stoll's paranoia and raises the question of whether his fears were grounded in reality. Yet no known group has ever been linked to Stoll's death, and despite thorough investigations, authorities have never uncovered any evidence to support this theory. Still, the chilling nature of this idea persists, driven largely by the cryptic and unresolved elements of the case. The unsolvable nature of the YOGTZE case. Over the years, more than 1,200 leads have been investigated, but none have brought authorities any closer to solving the YOGTZE case. Police have revisited the evidence multiple times, and despite media attention and ongoing public interest, no breakthrough has been achieved. This ongoing mystery has resulted in the case becoming a focal point of German true crime culture, featuring in documentaries, books, and podcasts, all speculating about what might have happened to Günther Stoll. Some experts believe that, without new forensic evidence or a confession from someone involved, the YOGTZE case may never be fully solved. The cryptic nature of the clues, particularly the YOGTZE message, has made it difficult to form a cohesive narrative. Even the meaning of the word itself has remained elusive, its intended significance dying with Stoll on that fateful night. So, the legacy of the YOGTZE case. The YOGTZE case stands as a testament to the bewildering complexities of human behavior and the limits of forensic investigation. It reflects how, despite advancements in technology and investigative techniques, some mysteries remain impenetrable due to the absence of crucial witnesses, evidence, or coherent narratives. The case continues to captivate the public's imagination due to its haunting, unanswered questions. Who were the four men Stoll mentioned? Why was he found naked? What led to his final moments, and what does YOGTZE truly signify? Ultimately, the case poses more questions than answers. Despite the tireless work of investigators, amateur sleuths, and those intrigued by this cryptic event, the story of Günther Stoll remains an unresolved enigma. It exemplifies how a case can remain open, not because of a lack of effort, but due to the sheer complexity and elusive nature of the human factors involved. An enigma that endures. The YOGTZE case has all the hallmarks of an unsolvable mystery: an inexplicable death, cryptic messages, multiple puzzling clues, and a complete lack of conclusive evidence. The strange sequence of events leading up to Günther Stoll's death leaves a wide berth for speculation and interpretation, with theories ranging from psychotic breakdown to organized crime, and even supernatural involvement. While many believe the case will never be solved, the ongoing intrigue surrounding the YOGTZE case ensures that it remains a subject of fascination. In a world where mysteries are often solved with scientific precision, this case stands out as one where logic and reason seem to falter, leaving behind only questions. Whether Stoll's final hours were the result of a tragic accident, foul play, or something far more complex, the truth may never emerge. However, one thing remains certain. The story of Günther Stoll and the cryptic message YOGTZE will continue to perplex and intrigue for years to come. Thank you for spending time with us through Spookscope today. Feel free to share your wisdom and knowledge in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, my dear spooker, stay curious.